This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, it happened again. And we are back for everyone's ears that just are bleeding because of that. I want to talk about the tiny home.
Okay.
So just tell me about it.
So I haven't actually built a tiny home myself yet,
Okay.
but it was like a tiny home show. They reached out to me over Instagram and they were like, "We'd love to have you. I think it would be so cool. Do you think you could just like speak or something? Or like, do you have an idea?" And I was like, "What if I build a tiny home and people can watch me build it?" And they're like, "Yes."
Yeah.
So I designed it and we did it really small because I only had, I think it was like half an hour on stage, including building it all. So I cut everything ahead of time and then I had to like walk everyone through it too. So I think it was like 5 feet by 2 feet and it was like 3 feet tall. It was so
Yeah.
cute.
Oh, that's wicked. So you just pre-cut all your stuff and then just
Yeah.
got up there and kicked ass and put it all together while you like explained what you were doing.
Yeah, it was the second day, I think, because I had to do it 3 days in a row. So the second day, I almost shot my finger while I was on stage, and I was like, I'm just gonna play it off like it didn't happen.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, it was so close, but I still probably would have just like tried to pretend it didn't happen because, like, that would be so embarrassing.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, you're like, I'm really good at this, by the way, and then you shoot yourself.
I know there's a few people giving me crap about not wearing like safety glasses, and I was like, okay, but I don't wear these at work because
Yeah.
they just hurt my head. Like the plastic on it, I can't.
You can find comfortable ones. What I find with safety glasses is you have to have them on all day long, but the first time you wipe them off, they're scratched. The first time you
Yeah.
put them down, they're scratched.
Mhm.
It's you got to leave them like in your sunglass visor in the car, or they're scratched. I'm not a big fan. Um,
No.
I had to because of steel, right? Because you're
Mhm.
constantly grinding or snipping, or
Yeah.
even with like a self-tapping screw, you get these little corkscrews that kind of fly off
Oh,
at you.
yeah.
So it's necessary, but with wood, it wasn't. It was like I'm like
No.
wood's organic. I'll absorb that.
Yeah, you just do like the little squint when you're cutting plywood. This
Yeah,
works.
yeah. This is how you do it. Okay, so you talked at this thing. Did they pay you for it?
No, but they gave me like my table for free, so I got to sell like my shirts and give out my
Yeah.
business cards and everything. So technically I was paid because I think the
Yep.
tables were almost $1,000 and
I
I
take
was like,
that as
that's fine.
payment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
technically yes then.
Good for you. And they just found you off Instagram. Was it like a girls in the trades kind of deal, or did they what? Probably because you were so young and you were doing it.
I
What do you think
think
was
people
the?
saw that like I had the following and I
Mhm.
do a lot of the more like I try to go on like podcasts or I try to go see
Yep.
people and do a lot to give back to the community that they're like, she'll probably come.
Yeah. That's I like that more than any of the other answers. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I do a lot, or at least before COVID, I used to do a lot through the high schools too. So
Hmm.
I think it was kind of like word of mouth as well that they're like, she does stuff through the high schools and she tries to take on for mentoring, and it'll be a good outreach, I guess.
There's this like step progress process with me when I like see accounts, right? Where you're like, okay, um, this person obviously knows what they're doing. Okay, good. Right. And then, check. And then it's like you go through their profile and it's like, okay, but now are they full of shit or no? Right. And then you kind of get that too. So like when you are doing all this stuff and giving back, like that's such a big part. That's what the focus of this year is. When I
Mhm.
sit down at the end of I don't really do resolutions, but I kind of like give myself a final mark on the year, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. And there was not enough teaching last year, and there was not enough giving back. It was a lot of just like running and grinding.
I feel that.
Yeah. So this year, like with the podcast, I'm heading to Vegas. I've started doing like wings nights with the other
That's
people. Yeah,
cool.
yeah, we did it last weekend. It was awesome. Hopefully that takes off. I think we're gonna kind of go, everybody bring someone else. Um, and
Yeah, and like bring more people and
yeah, well, I think 6 people's a lot. It's probably a good number. There's 3 of us
yeah.
that I think are going to continue doing it, and then we'll like pick somebody to come with us. We had a blast. Like we ended up, I don't, I'm not sure we should talk about it. We ended up keeping the bar open. So we got talking to the waitress. When she was done, she came and sat down with us, and then the owner came and sat down with us. I checked
That's
my
so
watch
cool.
and I was just like, when do you close? And she's like, oh, a long time ago. And we're just like shooting the shit. We're having a great time. But I mean, with those three people, it went so well. We all just bring another person kind of thing. And that's just, it's community, right?
Yeah.
When you sit people down, Fozzie the carpenter was the guy that we brought with Kirsty Slade. And
Oh, yes, she taped my parents' house.
what's that?
She taped my
Yes,
parents' house. Yeah.
that was another, like, when I was going through your thing after Manny's, I messaged you right away pretty much. And I'm doing that a lot now. If I like a podcast, I'll message someone as soon as I think that I enjoy it. I'm like,
Yeah.
good for you. Actually, Megs from Drywall is going to be on the podcast, because about
Really?
halfway through I was like, oh, and this is cool too, and then about 3/4 of the way through they talk about this podcast. So out of all capital letters, I sent her the next message. Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, when I say she gets around everywhere helping Kirsty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's so nice. She's so giving. And I'm like, how do you have the time for this?
it's
I love
almost
it, but teach me.
it is a little bit crazy. But that's the type of person that's like giving back to the community constantly, right? And especially through the union, right? Like you're surrounded by people that you can be helping. And she cooks. When we went to the CSR thing, she made everybody big cookies with their insignias on it and stuff. Yeah, it
Aw.
was really cool. It was really cool. Yeah, giving back is so big, and you've figured that out already. I think that's huge.
I mean, like I figured it out a little bit, but not. I try to do as much as I can, but because I was still starting the company and everything, it's a little tight for certain things. But
If
I
it's
try to
even
do as
on the
much.
list, you know.
I think I did okay.
Yeah.
Well, like, cause my trailer got robbed, I think 2 years ago, basically. So they
Hmm.
took all like my saws and my guns and a few other tools and stuff. And because I posted being like, oh my God, guess how my day is going? Like just
Hmm.
to complain, nothing expecting out of it. So many people reached out to me. I got like $3,000 on GoFundMe. All my tools were replaced by the next day. I was telling people, like,
Wow.
no, please, like, please, I do not need any more.
Yeah,
Please, please,
this
please.
is
Like, I'm
way more
good.
than was stolen. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is not
I'm
a
just
fundraiser. Yeah.
complaining. But then one of my buddies actually his trailer got stolen and I was like he didn't even tell me. Someone else told me that it happened. So I messaged him right away. I was like, "What do you need?" And he was like, "Nothing. I'm good." And I was like, "Just tell me, what do you need?" And he was like, "Well, do you have like this or that?" And I was like, "Yeah, it'll be like on its way tomorrow cuz my sister's boyfriend works close to him." So I was like, "It's
Awesome.
on its way." He was like, "How much do I owe you?" I was like, "Just take it. Like if you need anything else, just let me know. I get a lot. I do not need it. It's fine. Take it. You need it. You've helped me out. I help you out."
And when it's extra, right? Like you've got extra sitting around, like it's
Yep.
I call that karma points, right? Like
Right?
it's like taking the fucking buggies that aren't yours back. Like it's the same
Mhm.
kind of thing. I believe in that. Emily, she does renos as well on
Oh
Instagram.
yes, I've met her.
She's up here by me, and that was the first response. I was like, if you're doing any kind of taping, just speak up, because it sounded like it was her taping tools and her Merca that got taken out of the
Yeah.
truck, and it was just like, I'm not using them, not this stretch of time. So speak up. And I kind of feel shocked that not more people do that. Like it's not like anyone's like, once your face is out there, you're not going to take
Mhm.
off with someone's tools.
No, not at
Um,
all.
or if 3 or 4 grand's worth that, I don't think so though.
I
Yeah,
know, but like
yeah,
if someone's giving it to us, and let's be honest, with the social media and stuff, I get a lot of my tools for free.
same.
I'm like, I can afford to give it to someone else. I've given it to like a few of my workers that were doing really good. I'm like, here, I got an extra nail gun,
Hmm.
take it. But I'm also like, I don't want to post that stuff because I
No,
feel like it's not necessary.
it's not
People don't need
humble.
to know that I do that. I do it because it helps other people and it makes me feel good about it. I don't need to brag about it.
The other thing that's going to do is it's going to have people messaging you looking for tools, right? Like
Yeah.
when it's organic like that, and I love seeing a situation like that going, I could help there, I could help there, and
Mhm.
it'll actually make a difference.
Yeah.
um Yeah, giving back to the community is huge. So that's
Yeah.
really cool. Tell me a little bit more about Vegas. Where did you stay? What did you eat?
We stayed at the Rio,
Okay.
which we kept walking back and forth to the strip. And I don't know if you know where it is, but it's like a
No.
25-minute walk to the strip. But
Okay.
we were told it was on the strip. And then we got there and we had to walk over this bridge past like a bunch of homeless people. It was a little sketchy, so we had to Uber at night. We had a great time, but our schedules changed so much trying to go to Vegas time. We ate a lot of the cheaper food, so we went to like In-N-Out or like Smash Burger or stuff because we were like, we don't really want to spend a lot of money. We
Yeah.
did actually get invited to the Bacchanal buffet with one of the IBS dinners, so
Okay.
it was a free dinner thanks to I don't remember how to pronounce the name, but they're really nice guys. I think his name's ATN, I
Oh yeah,
think.
you got to
But
shout them out now.
yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, I can't remember the company name. I know it. I know it. I had it. I'll find it and I'll do something and put it, but I'm really
Uh,
bad with names. So
I'm the fucking worst with names.
right.
I'm the worst with names. I have to ask people for their contact information when I meet them to remember their name because it's in my it's everything that I try. I just can't figure it out. I'll
Right?
remember everything we've ever talked about. Like I have a great memory, but it's
Yeah.
yeah, for some reason my body's like, we don't care what your name is.
No, it's like names. What? Who's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
I know.
that's
It happens.
it
I
does.
think
And it
sometimes
just is what it is. And I always feel terrible because I'm just like, hey. But I can get over it pretty quickly. And I think that that's the sales in me where I'll just like bring up that thing that we talked about last time or whatever, right? Or I'll ask them how the thing
yeah,
is going that they started or whatever. And it's like,
I
see, I
just try
remember.
not to
Just
address them.
yeah,
Just talk to them like you know them because you do, but you're like, I'm just not gonna say your name.
that's right. I remember. You just know what your name is. Um, so yeah, that first conversation that I had with Aaron about going, so Colombia is taking me.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to go. And I was like, like how much are the rooms and like what do you typically spend? And he was like, we're just gonna do that. And I was like, okay. So then in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, now we got a budget for food. So what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna eat? And I'm like, yeah, how crazy are these guys gonna go with the food? And like so then I spoke up and I asked him, I'm like, like what kind of a food budget do you bring? And he's like we're gonna so
That's so
this
amazing.
whole fucking thing is paid for. I'm
I
so
would.
excited.
I
Yeah.
know. I had to pay for my whole trip, and I was like, I'm hoping I can sweet talk someone next year, but
Mhm.
I'm not. I'm not gonna reach out to anybody. I'm not that kind of person.
That's the difference though, is they'll reach out to you.
Yeah.
They just will.
Worst
Uh,
case, I just pay for the trip myself.
that was my intention actually this year because Fresco Harmony's going down there. I knew that Columbia was. It's drywall specific. I've got the podcast now, so I kind of want to shake a couple of hands down there. I've got a couple of questions I want to ask people that know what they're
Mhm.
talking. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going anyways.
I know
So
it's a big networking event, especially with the social media. I met so many people, or even people I've met in the past, but you reconnected, or like
mhm.
there's so many people I met, and I was like, oh my God, finally.
It was so the first thing that I ever did like that was like a social media get together was that
Mhm.
CSR event for Black Friday. And I always feel like I'm bothering everyone for some, it's
Yeah,
just the way that I am. And I was like, I just want to kind of sneak in. I know Brad. I want to shake a couple of guys' hands there because I knew Nick was up from Albuquerque. And when was the next time he was going to come back? Because this was before Fresco was even in Canada. So it was like, God knows when he's going to come back.
yeah,
And then when people are recognizing you or they're like saying that they watch your content and stuff, it's like you're floored about it because
I
it
know.
doesn't seem real at all.
People were
Um,
walking up to me asking to take selfies, and I was like, you
right?
know me?
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that like you want to take a picture. I'm like, for what? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just so confusing. Yeah, it's a good feeling though, right? Because you've earned it. And when you haven't done it like in a scummy way, it really is a nice feeling.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great going down there. The first thing that I sent to Aaron off of your profile was you in front of Taco Bell. I actually think I commented it on your thing. Hey, Aaron, can we
Yeah.
eat here? Yeah, he's like, we're not doing that.
You have
But
to. We just
I
went
want
literally
to
just
so
right
bad.
there.
Yeah. I think this convention's in Paris, with the Eiffel Tower one. I think that's where this one is.
Oh, that'll
I
be cool though.
I feel bad. I know nothing about it. I just know where my flight is. Yeah, right. That exactly what you just did there is my whole outlook on stuff. I'm like, am I gonna die if it's wrong? No, that I don't give a
Yeah,
shit.
you'll find out when you get there.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah. I'll show up and kick ass. That's what I do.
I didn't even know what
Uh,
time my flight was until the day of, so
that's hilarious. Yeah. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter till the day you go.
yeah, I
To
got
be
there.
honest, yeah. All right, good. Oh, that's so funny. So your merch, is it big enough for me to get something? Like,
Yeah,
your sizes go? Okay, good.
I
I'm
have
not
everything from I think extra small to 2XL,
perfect.
I
That's
think.
what I need.
Yeah.
Good. I'll message you after.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
when you're looking at brands and stuff now, it's kind of funny talking about brands once you're getting a bunch of free shit because it's like you're not buying it.
you're not-
But I mean, if you were to guide someone towards something, do you find that there's like a easier to use and a more skilled set of tools, or they're all kind of the same?
I think it's more based on like weight, I think is
Hmm.
more, or there's certain like so crisp air and pass load are basically almost the same. Like they have it's how you load the nail gun. So you have to
Okay.
like pull it back and then load it through the side, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, like
And
a
then
like a gas gun or like a air gun would be like
yeah,
um
it's hard to explain.
so some of them are from underneath and then some of them have the slot that it falls in through the back and then
Yeah,
you click it. Yeah.
yeah. So it's
Those
kind
were
of like
my favorite because it was cool.
yeah, they're super cool. It just sucks when
Yeah.
they always fall out because the thing's loose and you're like, okay, I should really
Yeah.
tighten this now.
Yeah, or there's like one too many nails in it and you go to use it and the clip falls out. You're like,
Yeah.
cool.
Oops.
Just I'll just get down off this ladder.
Yeah.
Um
But I
uh,
don't think it's necessarily like experience level. There's
yeah,
like the
okay.
home version versus the construction, but it's more about quality of the tool rather than
Hmm.
skill level. I think most of it's based on just preference of how the tool works.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of found that it was like longevity was a big part of it, of like how long can I beat the shit out of this thing? Because I don't take care of things. I'm the first person to say that. It's like if I've got to toss something down because I just don't want to come back up for it, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I just like look around and apologize to it, and there it goes. You don't throw it on the floor, but like you find something
Yeah.
possibly
Well,
soft.
all of my nail guns have hooks on them so that I can just put
Yes.
it because I'm like I'd grab the hose and just go and just like grab it when it got close to the end.
You just send it, right? And it like Spider-Man's down. Yeah.
It lands fine.
What are you using as your saws? You said
All
DeWalt?
DeWalt.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You got a full-size battery? Like a full-size battery saw?
Yeah, so I have four of like the regular saws that are
Yep.
all battery powered, and then I have one worm drive, and then I have a
Yes.
corded one, but that's just way
Yeah.
back up.
Yeah. For even cutting stacks of plywood, you can do that with I was cutting LVLs with the battery saws. Like
Yeah,
there's
they've gotten
there's
a lot
no
better.
need anymore. Yeah.
No, it's cordless always.
Yeah. I actually busted out I'm trying to remember what the hell for. Anyways, but already this year I've busted out my corded saw, and the first time that I went to do something and I drug the cord along, it was like a noise that I recognized, but I wasn't sure what it was, and then I was like, oh yeah, this is a piece of
I'm
shit.
attached to something.
Yeah, I was like, this is a terrible idea, right? You're trying not
Yeah,
to cut it. Yeah, that's good. You got lasers and things that you're using.
yeah,
I'm
I
guessing
have Stabila lasers.
that's what I figured. Yeah,
Oh yeah, any leveling tool is Stabila.
yeah. It looks like they've been pretty good TA.
Oh yeah, they've
Yeah,
gotten me a lot. A lot of levels.
yeah. Their
Yeah,
stuff's the best. It's
I know.
yeah, I don't want to say I've been around a long time, but I kind of have. And it's like the guys that are doing good work, they all have stabila or
I know.
stabila. And then everybody hates you when you say it that way. um,
I-
yeah, that's awesome. I gravitate to the Hilti stuff now just because when I'm working outside, I find that their batteries are happier in the colder temperatures.
Oh
I
yeah.
I'm one of those like big people that when it's -30, I'm just out there happy that no one wants to be around and I can just focus. My cousin's the same way. So he's got like a agricultural fence company, and I
That's
had
cool.
it's so cool. Yeah, when I decided he's the reason that I started the company. Um, I came home from it was like a bust. I got sent out by a company to be a site super, but I was going to be able to build, and it was like a perfect situation for me. And I went and kind of single-handedly built him a booster juice, and then he came out and fired me. Oh yeah.
That's so rude.
Oh, it was brutal, but I was impressed that like he was able to kind of pull it one over on me. But anyways, on my way home, my cousin was watching the Instagram and he was like, "So what are you gonna do now?" So I went out there and I'm like, "So how do you put these posts in the ground?" As I'm texting him, he's like, "We just hammer them into the ground." And I thought he was fucking with me. Like I didn't. I was like, "Fine, I'll figure it out when we get out there." Yeah, he's got this huge mechanism that just drives them into the ground, and then they're solid.
That's so cool.
Yeah, actually this year he picked up, I think it's like 150,000 or something machine. It's a tank. It's on tank treads and it just drives along. It's so efficient. It's the coolest shit I've ever seen. I didn't even know it was a thing. But anyways, I show up with all my packouts. I'm very impressed with all my Milwaukee tools. And
Yeah.
on the coldest days, they are full and they're going like, oh, like we're not doing this today. And he's out
Yeah.
there working just fine with all of his Hilti stuff. So I was like, you son of a bitch. And I started
It's
buying.
really good to know though, because like most batteries die really quick in the cold.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think that they're just made just that little bit more, I think. Hilti was always kind of the big name when I was coming up in the commercial world, right? Because that's
Mhm.
kind of what they're geared towards. We've even reached out to them like, hey, what about a cutoff tool? Or like there are things that you should have here. And they're like, we don't care about you people. Like they didn't come out and say it, but it was pretty clear that's what they
Yeah, it's like
meant.
we do commercial and that's it.
Yeah, they're like, we have a robot that like puts in stuff and exoskeletons. We're not building you a fucking cutoff tool. Right, so they sell 15 a year. Yeah, they're great. In the first company that I worked for, they were buying all of their fasteners from Hilti.
Oh.
So all of our screws, all of our drywall screws, the Kelly screws, the pins, the gas, it was all Hilti. And then after X amount of money is spent, they show up with a duffel bag with, okay, here are all the tools to put our fasteners in. Just keep doing that. So every once in a while, Bob would drive up to the site and drop off like a hockey bag that had all brand new tools in it. And by then, they were all pretty busted up by the time the new ones got there. Um, and a lot of it is like you don't care about them because they're not yours, right? So it's not like you can go get them fixed. Yeah, but Hilti's been a great company. I just thought they were really expensive back then. How long you been on Instagram?
I think just over a year and a
Yeah, okay.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not been long. Instagram's not really like my first like go-to because I'm more on TikTok, but that's been
Okay.
like 2.5 years.
Okay.
But I have more followers on TikTok, so that's why I spend most like any free time. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna post there rather
Yeah.
than my Instagram. Yeah, I actually got called out for my Instagram being all about selfies literally 2 days ago, and I was like,
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
Instagram pictures, but it's because it's not my main priority.
Well, and yeah, I guess it is kind of now that I went through it a little bit. But you're like Stabila. What are you gonna do a
Yeah.
30-minute video on levels every day? You can't do that.
No, I
It's
try to
like
post, but then
you're
I don't like get the reels on, and it's just a
mhm.
lot to edit, and I don't like using the videos from TikTok and then putting them on my Instagram because they have like the TikTok logo the
Yeah.
whole time, and I'm like, I feel bad.
So the snippets that I take from the podcast, I like to put them on TikTok first and then move them over, because at the end of it, it does that little doo, right? And then it's like it's over. Like that's the end of the
Yeah.
clip, especially if you're being a smartass and you like cut it off at the right moment. Yeah. I'll do one right there with that. It'll be great.
That works.
But I downloaded TikTok because once things started getting crazy with Colombia, I just felt like I wasn't doing enough for what I was getting.
Yeah.
So I started up a Facebook. I started up a TikTok. Are you on Facebook? It's
Not
kind of like a
really.
dinosaur thing to do, but like the viewership is insane.
Is it? Like I have
Yeah.
a few things up because I was asked by this one company to post it there, but I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't have really, it's a lot to do all this stuff. Like I need YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all
Mhm.
this. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh,
Pick what you're good at and do it and go. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. My Facebook is a copy paste of my Instagram.
that's
I,
okay then.
yeah, I don't post anything on there. I'm part of like a drywall mentors group now. It's like
Mhm.
typically groups on Facebook are a bunch of people that are half-assed at something, arguing with each other about who's the best, which none of them are typically. And I went into the drywall groups because Nick Harmon got me onto it. It's, build the
Mhm.
community or whatever. And I was like, this is brutal. I'm not doing this. I hate this,
Yeah.
literally. Like I don't want to do this. And Tech Dry, Corey messaged me and was like, we've got like a group that's what you're looking for. And then I was in there for 3 days and they were like, do you want to be one of like the mediators? And then do you want to be a group expert? And then do you want to be a mediator, all within a week? And it's been great. But
That's good.
outside of that, I'm doing nothing on Facebook.
Yeah.
Even my reels, I think like the best reel at the time that I had was like 1,500 views. That same reel on Facebook went to 3 million. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Which was a funny story because I started getting all these comments that were like not cool comments. Like they were like, quit your job or kill yourself. Like not quite like that, but it was real
Yeah.
close. So I was like, man, I'm really good at what I do. Like, why am I getting all this negative? Right. And then I looked and it's like, because 3 million people have looked at it. So
Yeah.
I just turn off all of my comments, notifications. People can comment if they want, but
I
I'm not
know.
gonna
It's
see it.
hard. Like you can't look at all the comments because you just feel absolutely crappy about yourself.
Yeah.
Like people call you ugly, they call me a transgender, they call me like a boy, they like everything, and then they just like shit
Anything.
on my work. And I'm like, okay, you can't take it to heart because there'll be like days that I'm really like, I cannot post today because I cannot handle the comments.
Yeah, it's terrible. Turn off the fucking notifications. Right.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's what I do now. On Instagram, I don't. I read every single comment and I like every single comment. I like if it's too big to comment back, I'll message that person just because I think that community is a big thing on Instagram. Everything else,
Yeah.
not a chance. My TikTok, I don't even have notifications on my phone.
Oh no, I don't have
I
it
just
notified.
yeah. That I had one it was like a terrible corner bead job, but it like exploded. And yeah, that was the last time TikTok noise happened on my phone. I was like, no, thank you.
I was getting too many notifications that I was like, I can't handle this all day. I'm trying to work.
Well, and if you're running a business, you are checking your phone. Like
Hmm.
my cousin always gave me shit. He's just like, get off your fucking Instagram. I'm like, if Columbia's messaging me, I'm gonna answer right now.
Literally.
Like the second it comes in. Um, but there's a lot of people that are just like, what are you doing? Or like group chats, and I just can't do it.
Oh
I'm
no.
still I'm still a member of them because I'm polite.
Yes,
But it's like, how do you have the fucking time for this?
I know. It's a lot. Like I would rather answer people that are messaging me about like how to get into the trades or anything that
Totally.
way than comment back to, "Oh, you're pretty. Oh,
Yeah.
you're sit at your job." Oh, and I'm just like, "Okay, whatever. Just go with my comments. It's fine."
Yeah. You're shit at your job. Anything like that, I'm always just like, you obviously really know what you're talking about. Just tag me to some of your work. And then
Yeah.
that usually stops it pretty quick. My God, social media. I think it's done a lot of good for me though. If you told me 3 years ago that I was going to be on social media and like loving it and like putting all this time into it, I would have told you were nuts.
Right?
Oh yeah. I was like, my Facebook, I go on there to make fun of my best friend, just about everything he posts. And then like I see what my mom does, and I've got
Mhm.
friends out west that post about their kids, and that's literally what my Facebook is for. Um
Yeah.
yeah, so I'd like, but it's been a good ride. Like it's
No, I feel like
I've
it's
met a lot of
helped
good
us.
people on here. Yeah.
Mhm. It's connections, it's getting stuff, it's helped us a lot, but you also have to deal with like the negative side of it too.
Mhm.
But I think the positive outweighs the negative.
I really only ever once had someone be really negative, and then I like in my stories drug them through the mud and like spent an hour doing it,
Mhm.
and like it's never happened again. uh yeah, so I don't know if I like stuck my heel down and everyone figured it out, or like I'm just not important enough for anyone to fucking worry about. Columbia posted something of mine, and I thought it was if they do that and it's on their page, I don't comment back unless it's like someone being very positive.
Yeah.
But I thought it was mine, and I kind of like, it wasn't like a rude comment back, but it started like a 2 day thing. And it was the last time that I got into it with somebody. It just takes too much effort. It gets your like
Mhm.
getting your heart going.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
get so mad and you're like, I
yeah,
don't know you. You're behind a computer screen.
yeah, you are ruining my day. Yeah. And then you feel so dumb because you let someone else ruin your day. Yeah.
And you're like, that was just their whole plan. Why am I feeding into this?
Jesus Christ. Oh, I got pink zebra tape down. Do you do that with all of your tools?
I have that. I
Okay.
haven't put it on all my tools. I put it on a few and then they ended up the were the ones that got stolen.
Oh, for
So I
fuck's
haven't
sakes.
done it since, but I need to. I have it and I just haven't put the time into doing it.
That makes me wonder if they reached in and looked and were like, God damn it.
I
Gonna have to clean these fucking tools.
know, 'cause they were either like the zebra print, the white and pink,
Yeah,
or they were like
yeah.
this neon pink. And I was like, yes, this is it.
Good. I hope someone sees you carry this in there, you dick. Yeah, stolen tools. I gotta say, when I started, um, there were guys selling tools all the time, and you were super
Mhm.
happy when they showed up because you knew that you had had your screw gun for a bit, and
Yep.
then this one was going to be cheaper or whatever. And then one of the guys that I was working under pulled me aside, and he was just like, "You like getting your stuff stolen?" And I was like, "No, why?" He's like, "Where do you think they get all of that?" And it was the last time that I ever did it, because it just never occurred to me that that's what it was. For some reason, it was just the ice cream truck, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, you got to get there first because he's probably got one cool thing and a bunch of shitty things. But yeah, and then when you figure out that it's stolen, it's like, you bugger.
Yeah, you're like, I can't buy from you.
Well, and it sucks, right? Because like just like what you said, it's, not everybody has a good story like that.
Nope.
It's when you got to argue and fight and wait a month before you get paid. For some people starting out, well, you started a business, right? Like
Yep.
there's not 5 grand sitting around.
Oh no. If
Yeah.
I would have not had the social media and got my tools replaced, I probably would have had to shut down because I could not have afforded to replace it.
Well, and
Like I'm so grateful.
you can't even do the work to get the money to replace it,
Yep.
right? It's, unless you're a hell of a hammerer or something. But kind of hammer do you use?
I have a Martinez, but I don't
Yeah,
like it. So I've been stealing my dad's stiletto.
nice. Is it the titanium or the wood?
The titanium.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
My cousin got me an all black Martinez at the end of our first year, and it's hanging up on my wall. I'm not swinging a $300 hammer. I'm not doing it.
Mine
I
was customized pink and cost almost $600 by the time I paid for it and duty and shipping and everything.
Yep.
But I use it. I just don't like it because like the head pops off.
Yeah, where it kind of it's almost
Yeah.
like a knuckle on it, right? And it like I imagine they get loose like crazy.
Mhm.
But if you're swinging a hammer all day, that's what they're for.
Yeah.
Like I'm not framing like that anymore. If I was, I would. Um Yeah, no shit. Murray was a guy that I was working under when I was doing the corrections, and he came in the one. I don't remember what I was doing, but it was swinging the hammer all day, and he left his, and he was just like, "You should just use that today." And I'm like, "You're stupid. I don't need to use your hammer or whatever." And then like about the third time that I looked over at it, I was like, "Well, let's see." And it was like, "Oh, this is wonderful. Like I can swing this like a sledgehammer, and it doesn't weigh anything. The
Mhm.
impact is the same. I feel like you don't get it up your arm as much as what you would. Like it's
Yeah,
there's a lot
saves
of
your
thought."
wrist, your elbow. Yeah.
Hmm. Are you feeling beaten up yet?
Kind of.
You're still pretty young. Yeah.
Like I have a bad back, but that's not really from framing. Just framing made it worse. And then I have a bad wrist because I got hurt on the job site. And yeah, I'm very sore, but the
Mhm.
repairs are helping like even
Yeah.
it out a bit. So
I'm happy to hear that you started the repairs. That is something that I would have now. It money wise, there wasn't a whole lot of it there, but
yeah.
experience in a small amount of time, I would not be the person I am now without have done that for that year or whatever it was, year and a half.
Plus, like, you're not gonna get the same amount. Well, it's kind of depending on the crew that you had. Like, I wasn't having the best crew, so we weren't getting that fast. That I wasn't making that much money as my own
Hmm.
business because training and training, you lose
Yeah.
a lot of money. But like, I'm getting good money now, but it's just like as a employee, so I could make more if I went on my own and did like back framing or whatever. But I'm like, it's just nice to relax a bit, and I'd
That
rather that.
that headache being gone is huge.
I know.
Like you wake up in the morning and it's like, yeah, I'll get there. I know I got my list. I'll finish my list and I'll go home. And
Yep,
it's
you know what times you can work till, you don't have to work late. Like I did a lot of night framing on my own because I was like,
yeah,
well, stuff's got to get done. It's pitch black out. Let's turn on the lights.
yeah, yeah. You're like, thanks to DeWalt for sending me these lights so I can work in the fucking dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that responsibility over your head of like, this has to be done or I'm gonna look bad is it's a lot. Keep shipping night.
Yep. Well, I started the business when I was 22, so like
That's young.
20 to 24, it's a good amount.
Yeah, and that's a lot of stress for a person. Like
Mhm.
not to say that younger people don't feel stress the same way, but like I feel like by the time you're 30, you've adapted to like how much stress you can deal with. So like right off the bat, that would have been
It's
a
a
little bit
lot.
much. That would have been
Yeah,
much.
you don't have as much of like the leeway, and then you're like, oh, okay, my whole life is about to be stressed
Yeah.
now, and I'm only 20.
I'll
Oh,
just I'll just jump off this mountain. It'll be fun.
yeah.
Okay, cool. That's another good time to take a break. We will be right back.
Okay.